Now, joining me now in Philly is Christina Greer, Associate Professor of Political Science at Fordham University and an MSNBC political analyst, and Jonathan Alter, who is also a columnist for the Daily Beast. The two gentlemen on the Republican ticket are down there speaking in North Carolina. Yikes, with a bee flying at our head. Kicking off talking about Mike Pence, talking about ISIS, and the fact that no speeches last night mentioned ISIS. But whether we're talking about Islamic extremism or ISIS, that's not the only big difference as it relates to military or specifically veterans between this ticket and Hillary Clinton.
Right. Well, I think something that will come out over the course of the fall campaign, Stephanie, is that Republicans want to privatize the VA, and the Democrats do not want to privatize the VA. Now, the VA is not very popular right now. There have been some scandals, but most veterans are on the side of the Democrats, even though they tend to vote more often Republican, on the question of privatizing veterans' medical services. Most veterans like the system pretty much the way it is, where they have their own separate VA system, separate VA hospitals.
I think also the goal of last night was to really beautify the Democratic Party. And so when we think about policy prescriptions, we'll obviously see a lot more of that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But last night was really thinking about getting the Bernie supporters on board, really setting a tone.
It was liberal night last night. They needed to let all the Bernie people get it all out of their system, and now they can go on to address some of these other issues.
I want to share. We saw some members of Team Bernie getting it out of their system with a bit of heckling last night. Take a look.
God, you have given us wisdom. Now give us courage for the facing of this hour.
Give me a history lesson. I'm new to this game. For me, it seemed more than liberal night. It was very messy. Compared to other conventions, what does it normally look like? Was this very disruptive?
Well, see, I don't think it's as disruptive as everyone's saying. Like, yes, there are distractions. Yes, there were people who were chanting Bernie. But, think about 2008. There were lots of Hillary supporters who were at the convention. They were not happy necessarily with the fact that, their candidate lost. And I think the goal of the next 4 days is to really make sure that the main opponent is Donald Trump. I think there are going to be some Bernie supporters who will not get on board. That will be a small faction. I think that's what we're seeing right now. But as far as thinking about the leadership and the elites who will pull in their base, I don't think that it was as messy as it seems.
It was very different. This is my 19th political convention. I have never seen anything like what was happening at the beginning of last night. You have to go back to 1968, 1972 to see that kind of raucousness on the floor of a convention. But something extraordinary happened. Michelle Obama gave one of the great speeches in the history of conventions, and it was a dividing point. After that, the booing pretty much ended, and I don't think you're going to see much more of it. She essentially shamed those raucous delegates, and so did Sarah Silverman when she said to the Bernie or bust people, "Don't be ridiculous."
Right.
That was also an important moment. At the beginning, there were some just very rude delegates. They were interrupting Cory Booker. They were chanting insults at him.
Leave it to the women. Leave it to the women to get control in the room. Did Bernie Sanders do enough? Bernie Sanders is the one who started this fire. He stayed in the race long after it was mathematically possible for him to get the nomination.
Right, but keep in mind, Hillary Clinton stayed in the race quite a bit, too, in 2008. I think the great thing is Bernie Sanders set a tone, earlier yesterday and even last night. But I think what we really need to pay attention to is moving forward. How does he help Hillary Clinton? Not just talking about the fact that we can't have Donald Trump, but also making sure that he links his policy prescriptions to some of her policy prescriptions, to make sure that his people actually have a voting plan, to see that they did make some strides. When you look at the Democratic platform, which, obviously always gets lost in the shuffle, but there are some gains that he and his team were able to make. And so it's the work that he does from today until November 8th that's important.
What about the work Michelle Obama does? Given how well Michelle is the pressure on for the Clinton team to get Michelle to stay engaged in this campaign taking into November? She's got the likability factor.
Oh, she's going to stay engaged. And that theme, when they go low, we go high, you're going to hear that over and over again, because what she's been able to do is to go right after Trump's theme with her own patriotic theme. When she said, it's not make America great again, and said, this is the greatest country in the world. That's a patriotic theme coming from Democrats who are usually on the defensive about loving their country. Now it's Trump who doesn't love America, and that's a powerful rhetorical move, almost a jujitsu move that the Democrats are pulling on the Republicans. Suddenly, Trump is the one who doesn't love America. Pretty good if you can pull that off.
Oh, American Ninja Warrior style, I guess that's what you're saying. Jonathan, Christina, we need to leave it there.